Yes, folks, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. That's me, by the way. I know I ask every time, but do please like and subscribe. It's down there somewhere anyway. Just click-a-roo it. Yeah, that's very good of you. I'm going to talk today about a very controversial subject that is about to become reality. I feel they're going to have to do this. The number of prison officers being assaulted and seriously assaulted, stabbed, boiling water and boiling oil thrown over them. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's definitely out of control. And it seems that the Ministry of Justice is finally waking up. Hello, you're awake. Yeah, well, you're going to have to do something about this. And I heard the shadow Minister of Justice for the Conservative Party, Robert Jerrick, he's suggesting that we have a supermax prison located inside the military compounds of the army to prevent drones and all the rest of it from getting in, because it isn't going to be too long before somebody decides to use one of the drones to drop one of these handguns into the prison, and then all hell will break loose. So what they're talking about now is actually arming prison guards, prison staff, arming them. Can you imagine that? Yeah, who's riding shotgun today? Yeah. But Robert Jerrick seems to have, of the Conservatives, seems to have the right idea about having a strong team available in all high security prisons ready to respond to any incident immediately, and that they would be armed, and that the standard prison staff would be issued with tasers, pepper sprays, and protective body armour. You know, so that in the event that they do it with high collars, yeah? Well, something's got to be done. But it's coming to something when this is happening. You see, the problem has changed since I was in the prisons in the 1970s and 80s. We didn't really have radicalised gangs. It was unheard of. They had little cliques, you know. I mean, at the Scrubs, it was West Indians that were a little group. But the worst they got up to was calling names. You know, they didn't exactly attack staff, no. Used to call you names like Bamba Clot or Ras Clot or something like that. I understand what they were on about, so I actually said to him, I don't understand it, don't speak that language, so no matter what insult it may be, it isn't touching me, you know. And I was a great believer in sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. I mean, who would like being locked in a cell, a 12-foot by 8-foot cell, with a couple of people that you don't know? You're not going to like that, are you? So whoever puts you in there is going to be a right bastard, isn't he? I tried to be reasonable and say, listen, the only way we're going to get through this day, the only way we're going to get through this is if you go and do what I'm telling you. Because I'm not here to entertain you, bully you, or intimidate you in any way. Just trying to get through the day. You know, so when I say bang up, I mean go to your cell and shut the door, for God's sake. You know, otherwise we're not going to get fed, you're not going to get fed, you're not going to get to your shower unit, your education classes, whatever it is. But they're not reasonable these days. I'll try to be reasonable. But there's no reasoning with radicalised inmates who are marching to a different drum, shall we say. And what are they doing this for? Well, they seem to believe that they are on some kind of divine mission. A fatwa against society. That's what they're doing. I mean, in certain ethnic minority groups, no names shall be mentioned, have this belief that the females of British or Britain are there for their entertainment. They're not exactly considering them as sentient human beings with feelings and emotions now. They're there to be enjoyed, whether they like it or whether they enjoy it or not. So you're getting what's known as the grooming gangs. And in the prison, of course, once they find their way into prison, which is less likely these days because for some reasons, for some God-known reason, the police don't seem to want to prosecute them. There was a case at Rochdale where a man knew that his daughter, I think she was about 13, was in the house of a member of this ethnic minority grooming gang, and tried to get her out. The police didn't get her out. They arrested him. Now, as long as that's happening, there's going to be trouble. But there's trouble building. I mean, I don't want to see it. I'd like to see some peace and understanding. But are we ready for peace and understanding? Maybe it's a step too far. And certainly the prisons don't seem to be. And of course, if you are going to start arming prison staff, then who are you giving the weapons to? Who are you giving them to? You can't give a 19-year-old girl a bloody handgun, teaching them how to use firearms, and this is just beggars belief that they're even thinking along those lines. And the idea that Robert Jerick has, of putting a prison inside a military camp, well, at least they're starting to think along the lines of something's got to be done. But I can't see any reason why they can't use the Falkland Islands. I mean, goodness me, Margaret Thatcher had us go to war to ensure that we maintained control of the Falklands. Yeah, why don't we use them? Build a supermax prison on there. And that would resolve the issue with all these unlawful migrants who were coming across on boats at the rate of 1,000 a day. 1,000 a day! Come on. There's a straightforward, simple answer to that. Get them aboard a big liner, a big cruise ship, and sail them off to the Falkland Islands. Stick them on there. You want to come to Britain? Well, this is part of our protectorate. You're on the Falkland Islands, all right. They won't like that, and it will empty. I don't know how many, 20, 30, 50,000 migrants they've got in hotels and stuff like that, costing something like £1 billion a week. Ship them abroad. Take them to the Falklands. Why not? They're still on English territory. We're not breaking any laws there. All right, it may not be in their better interests, but we're not there to cater to that, are we? I mean, obviously, you've got to be mindful that there are children and elderly people and ladies who are coming over as migrants. Be a little bit selective. I'm all in favour of that. But let me say this. The idea of arming prison guards is all well and good, but they're not recruiting ex-servicemen into the prison system. I was an ex-serviceman, an ex-NCO in the Royal Artillery, actually. Yeah, I got booted out of the parachute regiment. You can read about that in my book. It's called Screwed Up, which is available on Amazon, by the way. But there's a link to my other books on the prisons down below. So that's what they're talking about. They're talking about arming prison staff, arming them with guns and tasers and God knows what. The problem is, I mean, some of these inmates, they're pretty big bastards, big lads. What are you going to do when a 19-year-old girl, 5 foot nothing, beautiful blonde, lipstick, hostess makeup, the full Monty, gets tooled up with weapons? They're just going to take them off them. And then you won't be arming the prison staff, you'll be arming the prisoners. This needs to be very carefully thought out. And the right way is to have a supermax prison, remote location, or preferably some remote island like the Falklands. Stick 'em on there. They don't want to be in our society anyway. They've opted out. They're posing a danger, a threat to human life. Got to do something about this. Anyway, I've got a request in today. It's that time of day, folks. Yeah, it's the song dinger time. Here we are. Song dinger. Warning, yeah. And, of course, we've got a word from our friend, the goat. I've had a request. I think it's Jim that's requested this. It's they want me to sing Goodbye, originally recorded by Joseph Locke. It's a song from an operetta called The White Horse Inn. I remember seeing that when I was 8 years old. I was fascinated by it. And I loved this song as well. It was originally performed by Joseph Locke. Now, Joseph Locke wasn't called Joseph Locke, you know. His name was Joseph McLaughlin. And he came from just outside Magherafelt in Ireland. And my wife's family, McLaughlin, because my wife's Mary McLaughlin, or she was before she married me, and they came from Magherafelt. So there must be a connection there. So, what do you think, goat? I am about to murder Goodbye. Really? Well, if that's an opinion, thank you very much. So there you are. You've had your last warning. Song dinger time. Arming prison officers. What next? They've lost the plot. But they've got to do something. And at the moment, they don't seem to be doing a great deal, do they? So here we go. I'm going to sing Goodbye now. Are you ready? I reckon I better say goodbye before I start, because most of you will have buggered off by now. My heart is broken, but what care I? Such pride inside me is woken. I'll try my best not to cry by and by, when the final farewells must be spoken. I'll join the Legion, that's what I'll do, and in some far distant region, where human hearts are staunch and true, I shall start my life anew. Goodbye, each time I sought a tougher climb, where I may find their hearts are kind and I leave behind. I go to fight a savage foe, although I know that I'll sometimes missed by the girls I've kissed. In some Abyssinian French dominion I will do my bit and fall for the flag if I must. Where the desert sand is nice and handy, I'll be full of grit. You won't see my heels for the dust. I'll do or die or know the reason why, when told of bold Paul's last stand for the fatherland. Goodbye, it's time I sought a foreign clime, where I may find their hearts more kind than those I leave behind. Although I know I'll sometimes miss by the girls I've kissed, in some Abyssinian French dominion I shall do my bit and fall for the flag if I must. Where the desert sand is nice and handy, I'll be full of grit. You won't see my heels for the dust. I'll do or die, you'll know the reason why, when told of bold Leopold's last stand for the fatherland. Goodbye, goodbye, I wish you all a last goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye. I wish you all a last goodbye. Well, there you go. I certainly castrated that bastard, didn't I? Yeah. You'll do or die, or do anything you try not to hear that again. Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton.